If you're watching this video, then I'm a new daddy. All right, on to the assignment. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to go to Google Chrome or whatever your Internet Explorer is, internet browser, and go to the classroom website, which is www.uscience.wix.com/about. Okay, this is typed in at the or written in at the top of the board in the classroom, so it's right there in front of you as well. Now when we get there, there's the environmental tab, which you can go ahead and click on because that's our class. And you'll see down at the bottom is a recycling assignment. If you've never been to the classroom website before, here's your short little tour. The recycling assignment, okay? It's under the notes. This is just the assignment and how it's laid out to you guys. You don't have to print this off because the teacher's going to give you one, okay? So everyone should have a copy of this to begin with. And it just explains what needs to be done for this assignment. Then there's 4 videos, right? This is underneath the videos column. 4 videos, 1, 2, 3, 4, that are posted to help kind of step you through this whole process, okay? So since I'm not here and I won't be here for a couple weeks, I'm going to be at home playing with a little bald baby that kind of looks like me. You have 4 videos to go through, and this is me stepping you through it, showing you exactly how to do it. The substitute may or may not have any idea how to do this, so don't expect them to. You'll need to watch this video. You can stop it, pause it at any point you need to. You can put your headphones in and work on it completely in your own little world by yourself, or you could talk with the person next to you as far as asking them questions to find out how to do certain things with the program, okay? You should only be online if you go to this classroom website or if you go to your email, because with your email you may end up emailing yourself your saved files so that you don't lose them, okay? So here we are. I'm going to click on the recycled assignment so we can quickly discuss what the assignment entails. I get my button and I'll open it up here. So this is a recycling assignment, okay? Basically, throughout this school year, every day that we have recycled, which has been 2 weeks, 2 weeks between each recycling day, every day that we have recycled is posted right here in this little chart, right? October 2nd, October 12th, October 26th, and so on. Now for each of those days when we were done recycling, we counted and weighed how much we had for paper, plastic, and aluminum. And these are the totals for each of those days. The assignment is this. I'm going to ask you to make a chart just like this one here. You're going to fill in the totals for the amount recycled for each material and also the total for each day, okay? That's going to be the chart. Then graphs 1, 2, and 3, I'll explain those later. Today we're working on just a graph, so let's talk about just a graph. It says create a chart similar to the one that I have right here above. Do not make it the exact same. Why? Because that would be plagiarism. Of course you're going to have the same numbers, and it's going to be the same dates, and it's going to be the same materials. But there's ways that you can make it your own, and I'll show you how to do that, okay? So I'll quit out of this and show you what you need to open next. You can go to your hard drive or your system folder if you want to, or you can just go to this little search up in the top right corner, which is what I like to do. We're going to be using Microsoft Excel. So you type in Microsoft Excel or just Excel, and you should get this little green X. Open that up. For those of you who have never used Microsoft Excel, let me tell you, it's a very basic program that you can do very basic tables and charts and graphs with, or it can go pretty complex as well. We'll keep this fairly simple, and if you've never used it before, that's okay. I'm going to step you through it every bit of the way, okay? And if you have used it before and you're a professional and you think you can do this, no problem, then great, this should be easy for you. So first what we're going to do is, since we're putting in this table, and I know it's going to be kind of a big table, we want to make this a wide paper that we're using. Right now, it's in this portrait, right, which is kind of like an upright paper, the normal way that you get any assignment in class. We're going to change that. Go to File, Page Setup. This works just the same as Microsoft Word, so you can always change it from this portrait, where it's upright, to a landscape, like it's turned sideways. Okay, this is going to make it wider for us. Some people call it hamburger and hot dog. right? This would be the hot dog. So here it is. Now it's wider. We can see that we have more columns, and we want to make sure we're going to need to change these to make them smaller. Let me first say that where it says A up here, if I click on it, it highlights that whole column all the way to the left. Now a column runs vertically, up and down, right? So that's column A, column B, column C, column D, etc. Those are all columns. Over here on the left, we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. all the way down. I mean, you could keep scrolling down all the way to 1,000,000, right? These are all rows. So if I click on 4, this is all row 4. This is all row 2, okay? So we have columns and rows that are going to make up these simple tables and charts, okay? So first, like I said before, we want to change the width of these. These are too wide. We won't be able to fit in our whole graph or our whole chart into one page. So let's go to Format, and we'll go to Column. Again, columns run up and down. So if we want to make these columns closer together, then we need to format column width. And when I click on that, I see that it's at 1.04 inches. And I want to change that to 0.81. We'll see if that does it good for us. I'll change these other two off to the right because those are also in this paper now. Column width, 0.81. All right, now I'm going to make this pretty similar to the one that you guys just looked at on the recycling assignment, right? So if you have your recycling assignment with you, go ahead and pull that out and let's take a look at it. The way I have this set up, and you don't have to set it up this exact same way, but you can. I won't consider that plagiarism. Okay, but the way this is set up is we have our materials on the left, paper, plastic, aluminum. We have our dates across the top, October 2nd, October 12th, October 26th, etc. So let's go ahead and set it up that basic way, all right? Before I do that, let me put my name at the top. Now, my name is Mr. Yena, right? And it fits into that little cell. We call these squares that's highlighted here, like that blue section. That is a cell, okay? This is a cell. And it's just a little square, and it's what the program calls these, but it's a cell. Now, Mr. Yena fits in perfectly fine, but if my name were Mr. Yena Ganoush, it would not fit in fine, right? So I would put in my name, Mr. Yena Ganoush, and it doesn't fit. Well, what do? I'm going to take this cell, and I'm going to make them one cell, right? Because this cell only contains all the information that I type into that one cell. So I'll click on this one, and I'll drag it over to the one right next to it, which is Mr. Yena Ganoush. Go up to Format, Cells, and I get this that pops up. I have numbers, alignment, font, border, patterns, protections. These are all ways that we can change this cell. And I'm going to go to Alignment. When I click on Merge Cells, it's going to take those two cells and merge them together as one cell, which is exactly what I want. There we go, Mr. Yena Ganoush. Perfect. So if you need to do that, then do that right now. Now, further than that, I'm going to label this date. And the date is going to read straight across here, so we can go October 2nd, 2012, October 12th, 2012. Now I'm typing mine in with these slashes and the numbers. You might want to say, for the next one, October 26, 2012. Okay, and it's going to format it its own way. You can format this however you want to, as long as you include the month, the day, and the year. If I click on these cells, again, I can go up to Format, Cells. If I'm formatting it, I'm making it how I want it to be. So if I click on Format, I go to the number at the top. What type of number is this? Well, I'm putting the date up there. I don't want a fraction or a percentage or a time. I want the date, so that's why it's selected date. And if it doesn't read how I want it to, I can come up here and click on these numbers, 3/14/01. That's how I'll make it. That's how I like it. So if you want to do it a different way, then please go ahead and do that. But this is how I'm going to do it. Make sure they all are the same format though, okay? You don't want one with dashes or one with slashes or one with October written out. You want it all to be the same. So I'll put in all my dates, 10/26, 11/9, 2012, 11/23, 2012, 12/7, 2012, 1/11, 1/25, and I'm already seeing a mistake. Look, I put 1/11/12, and that's wrong because it's the new year. I have a hard time remembering that sometimes. 1/25/2013. Okay, if I put in 12, it's gonna mess up my chart. It's gonna put it all out of order because then that would be going back to January of last year, and that's incorrect. 1/25/2013, and we may have more. I don't know. There may be a question mark here, right? I'm just gonna put question mark because I don't know when little baby Yenna's coming. So you guys may do this tomorrow, and maybe the baby's coming tonight, or this may be like 3-4 weeks away. I have no idea of knowing. So you may have another data set going in there. And then lastly, I'll put totals, okay? Totals. Now, underneath the date, I have my materials. What materials are we actually recycling? Paper, plastic, and aluminum. You may want to put them in alphabetical order. Aluminum, paper, plastic, right? And then again, total recycled. So yours should look like this so far, right? I'm gonna include with this one pounds as a unit, just so I know that that's what I'm looking at. Alright, so now you see how my chart on the assignment, it shows that there's these black lines running through it. Right now these gray lines, they show us where these cells are, but if we were to print it off, it wouldn't show us black lines. What we want to do is we want to put in a border around them. So I'll select my date in the top left-hand corner, and I'll select all of these boxes here, okay? I want to format these cells. And I'm going to put in a border. So I click on border. Now if I put in an outline, it shows this little box going around the outside, and that would put in literally a box around the whole area that I've selected, right? But we also want to put some in the middle of it. So I'm going to select the middle of it, all these cells again. I'll go up to Format, Cells, and I'll click Inside. Now it puts this crossbar through and that crossbar through, and it's going to connect all those in between it, right? Which is good. It looks pretty nice now. I may want to make my materials bold, Format, Cells, Font, bold. I could change it however I want to. I could put a different font if I want. I don't have to use Verdana. That's how it has it set up. I want to outline it or shadow it. You can do it how you would like to, but try to make it the easiest for you or for someone else to read. Okay, so I'll keep it bold. Now I'll make those bold. Format cells, bold. Here I see that it gives me these pound signs. If you see pound signs there like this, that means that it's too wide, okay? So if I were to drag this and make it a little bit wider, then everything shows up perfectly fine. But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to undo that action. And I'm just going to keep all my dates. I'm not going to make them bold, okay? Cells, take away the boldness, because bold makes them wider. Now everything fits in perfectly fine. I'll just leave it that way, okay? You can always drag and manipulate these columns by doing this, right? Just clicking on that that border and dragging it over. And this way it's going to keep recycled and pounds in there. If I were to have it like this, it's not going to print with these pounds on the side, right? It's basically covered by this cell, so the pounds would not show up. So I'll drag it back over. All right, great. At this point, you may want to save it, just so in case something were to happen, you wouldn't have your work. Go ahead and save it. So I'll save as, and I like to save this to the desktop. Mr. Ganoush, Yana Ganoush, recycling, and I'll save it to the desktop, okay? For you guys, what I would recommend is, sure, go ahead and save it to your desktop, and then from there, click it and drag it, and you should have a document folder on the right side that says your name. So it should be your first name followed by the first letter of your last name. Drag it and drop it into your documents folder. I'd also go to my Gmail account. You guys all have a school account, and I would email this to myself. Or if you have a Yahoo account, go to your Yahoo email and email it to yourself. Okay, that's going to assure that even if something goes crazy wrong with these computers, you have it and it's saved, and you can pull it up from any computer you want to. So now I'll go back to it. It's saved and everything is looking good. I don't have any numbers put in yet. This is where you guys come in and go ahead and put in these numbers, okay? So I'll put in a couple first. October 2nd, aluminum. I put mine in a different order than over here on the assignment sheet, so make sure you put in the proper numbers. Aluminum is at the top here, but over here it's at the bottom. So aluminum 3 pounds, followed by paper at 48, and plastic at 15.5. Okay? Then I'll go to October 12th. Aluminum, I have 3.5. Paper, 41. Plastic, 12. Now to the 26th. Aluminum, 15. Paper, 61.5. That was a good one. And plastic, 24. And I could keep going through the rest of these dates, but that'd be boring for you to watch, and I don't need to keep doing it. I'm just going to show you what to do next. Once you get all this information typed in, including possibly a question mark date, then great. You've got all your information filled in. All we need is the totals. You can do totals the old school way. You can pull out a calculator. You can total it up. Or the easy way I'm going to show you is this. The total right here is total recycled for this date, right? For October 2nd. So I'm going to click in this cell, and this is really, really cool. This is where I tell you that it can get pretty complex if you want it to. These you can all use to set up equations. So in this case, I'm going to type just by pushing on my keyboard the equals sign, which is right next to delete. So I push equals, right? And I get this. When I type in equals, now this Microsoft Excel knows that I'm doing some equation, and now it's ready for me to start telling it what to do. So if I hit equals, I'm going to tell it, all right, I'm going to take this number 3, and then I'm going to push plus on my keyboard, and it tells me this is column B, right, straight down, and row 4. So B4 plus B5 plus B6. And now all I have to hit is return, and it's going to give me my total, 66.5 pounds. I don't have to go to a calculator. I don't have to then manually type it in. I just put in an equation. And in this case, this is really nice, because if I were to say, oh, shoot, paper, I didn't mean to put 48 pounds. It's supposed to be 43. Guess what happens to my total? It goes ahead and calculates it on its own, right? So I'll move it back to what it's supposed to be, 48. Now I can do that for all my days. Equals that plus that plus that. Now I have this equation set up where I'm taking the top 3 columns and setting it equal to the total. If you just want to copy this last one, edit, copy, it copies that whole mathematical equation. So here I'll hit paste, and it gives me the same equation, and it totals these up above. And I can do that for all my other ones, and it would give me whatever is up above there for recycling. Right? Again, if I were to put 5 pounds for that. I should see it change down there. And it did do it, so it's working. That's great. I'm not going to type in those numbers, though, because you can do that. You guys can do that on your own time. So now I have the totals here for these days. That tells me how much recycling did we walk out with on October 2nd, 66.5 pounds. How much did we walk out of the school with on October 12th, 56.5 pounds, etc. But if I want to know at the end of all this recycling we've done, how much of it has been aluminum, how much has been paper, how much has been plastic, that's these totals at this end, okay? So in this case, if I want to know how much aluminum we've gone through for this whole school year so far, I'm going to, again, I can type this in really easily with this math equation. Equals, come all the way over and hit aluminum from the first day, plus aluminum from the second day, October 12th, plus aluminum from the third day. Now I don't have any more recycling in here, but you can go through and you can type in all these days, and then you can go through and just select each of these and add it to it. Plus this day, plus that day, and you would do all of them. When you're done selecting all of them that go into this totals, hit return. And it tells me 21.5 pounds. Right, I can do the same for the next one, equals 48, plus this cell, plus this cell, equals, wow, a lot in paper. And then we can do the same for plastic. And again, I can hit equals and go through each cell, or I could just take this one. I can go to copy. If I copy something, it literally is just making an exact copy of what I'm telling it to make a copy of. So I'm telling it to make a copy of this cell right here, and I can see it kind of lassos it with this moving dots around it. And it's not taking that number, 150.5, it's taking that equation. So if I put it down here and I paste it, it's going to put that same equation in this bottom cell. And now it gives me the answer for this, 15.5 plus 12 plus 24. If I were to type it in for November 9th, at 9 pounds, it's going to change my total. It didn't change it. Oh, because I only selected 3 up there, right? So I would have to do all 4 of those cells. And then I put in 9. Now it's going to show me that change, okay? So at the end, we should have our date with all the dates going across and a totals at the end. We should have our 3 materials, aluminum, paper, plastic, and our totals. You should have typed in all these numbers from the chart that I've given you, and then you should have totaled them up, either by using your calculator, or if you want to be daring and do it a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, set up the formulas in this program. Now that we're done, file, save. Again, if you haven't done this yet, make sure you do it. Make sure you put it in your documents folder over here on the side. It should be your first name followed by the first initial of your last name, and then email it to yourself. You shouldn't be on any websites other than your email if that's what you're going to do, or the classroom website. That's the other exception. Okay, but those 2, that's it. No reason to get on YouTube unless you're watching this video. You shouldn't be watching other videos on there. You shouldn't be emailing people back and forth, Gmail chat, nothing like that, okay? All right, so now I've done all of this. When I'm done, I can file, print. Again, guys, this may take you a couple days. Understand I've worked on this document for years and years and years of my life. I know how to use Excel. It's very easy to me, but I know it's not to you. It may take you several days to do this, and that's perfectly fine. When you print it to printer number 4. That goes at the back of the classroom. Go ahead and hit print, and it should have your name and all your information there. Put that in your folder, and you're done. Good luck, guys. Again, if you have questions, watch the video, pause it, follow along with it, ask the person next to you if need be, and last case scenario, ask the substitute teacher, okay? You should be able to follow along with this on the video. Good luck.